The most important gearing changes coming in Season 2, patch 12.1. We know there's a lot of changes. I've already talked about them. For one, that bonus roll that we were talking about this morning from the vault and everything else. Also, a free $2.95 reward that you don't want to miss out on. Oh, let's check out this one here from Kalani.
Hey folks, this is Kalani. Patch 12.1 and Season 2 of Midnight are almost here, and they're shaking up how gearing works in a massive way. Raid loot will be far more valuable than it has been in the past, with myth track gear being much easier to acquire thanks to some huge weekly vault updates.
It's a big one.
Bonus rolls will be available very early on in the season to help you target specific gear upgrades. Solo content players have a few extra ways to get champion and hero track gear, and there are a few ways to get some big free gear upgrades right as the patch goes live if you know what to look for.
Ooh.
So let's go over the most important gearing changes coming in patch 12.1 and Season 2 of Midnight. Now before we jump in, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss another video. One of the most important gearing changes as we head into Season 2 is that raid loot will be better than ever before.
Patches this reset, right? Yeah, it hits this Tuesday. Patch goes live. Season 2 doesn't go live until August 18th, though. So this reset will kick off the patch. We'll have a story to go through, the new dungeons that we'll be able to do and everything else, new delves. But Bountiful Delves and Mythic Plus and everything else won't open up until the next week's reset.
Any very rare items or any item from the last two bosses on Mythic will drop at item level 344, which is technically 9 of 6 Myth. So that's 3 bumps higher than you can upgrade Myth Track Gear to, and it's the only source of item level 344 gear in the game at the start of the season. Most of these items also have very powerful cantrip effects tied to them, and there's even a small set bonus between a weapon and trinket. Most weapons are also covered across those two bosses, so this truly will be the best gear available in Season 2.
Nice.
Raid loot isn't just bad.
As it should be. Blizzard's making raiding great again. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. They're really adding a lot to raiding. They're making the gear better. Basically, all your best in slot, a lot of the best in slot is coming from the raid, and the fact that you'll be able to get myth track gear like right off the bat by doing heroic raid.
For the Mythic Raiders though, the weekly vault rewards have been updated for all raid difficulties, so you'll get a piece of gear from the difficulty above what you clear to fill up your weekly vault. So if you run LFR and take down a few bosses there, instead of your weekly vault having veteran gear like it would have in Season 1, you'll get some champion gear rewards instead. Clearing the raid on normal will yield hero track gear, and getting some heroic bosses down will now reward you with myth track gear. So getting myth track raid gear will be much easier in Season 2, and you won't have to raid on mythic difficulty to get some of your best in slot raid items.
Right.
If you are a Mythic Raider, your weekly vaults will instead always reward 6 of 6 Myth gear or Myth 9 gear if the items are from the last two bosses in the raid, or if the item is considered to be very rare.
Yeah, so basically Mythic Raiders won't need the crest. They won't have to do the crest grind that a Heroic Raider would have to do to be able to get up to that 6 of 6.
So Mythic Raiding isn't being devalued.
This is a good change.
In fact, the only way to get the best gear in the game in Season 2 is to be a Mythic Raider, something that hasn't really been the case for quite a while now. But where this change becomes even more important is with the return of bonus rolls. Nebulous Void Core bonus rolls will be available in Season 2, and you can start earning them as early as the second week of the season.
Yeah, by the way, use your bonus rolls that you still have these next 2 days. If you don't, I mean, they're gone. They're going to be useless in the next season. You can't carry over your bonus rolls.
Because bonus rolls reward you with an item equal to the weekly vault reward for the content you're doing, all bonus rolls spent in raids are going to be that much more valuable in Season 2. You'll be able to bonus roll myth track gear in heroic raids, for example, which should help you obtain specific items on higher gear tracks much faster. To make things even better for the raiders, the number of bonus rolls that you need to spend in raids was reduced from 2 to 1. So you now only have to use 1 bonus roll to get a piece of gear in raids, which solidifies raids as being one of the best sources of gear in Season 2. Now, if you haven't heard about the updates to bonus rolls in Season 2, that is going to be very important to know. At the start of the season, the only way to get a bonus roll will be from the weekly vault as a consolation prize. So if you don't get a good reward in your vault, you can choose to take a bonus roll instead, which gives you an extra chance to get something useful.
Right. This is very controversial, though, because a lot of players are saying they're just going to take the bonus roll. I talked about this morning. Because every time you use a bonus roll, it takes an item off the list of the potential items you could roll on, right? So you're really locking in that best at slot item. At some point, you're guaranteed to get it through the bonus roll. But if you take items from your vault instead, they don't get removed from that list. So by taking an item from the vault, you're giving yourself a chance to still bonus roll it later on. So it kind of scuffs the whole thing up. Now, could Blizzard fix that by making sure that you don't bonus roll something you already have? Yeah, but they haven't done it. So some players are just saying, oh, I'm going to take the bonus roll every week. You got to unlock 3 slots to get the bonus roll, and it'll kind of make it a little bit boring if that's the strategy you decide to go with, but we'll see.
However, the bonus rolls will only be available from the second week of the season, and you can only pick them up if you have at least 3 options unlocked in your vault.
Yeah.
So you won't be able to get one in the very first week of the season, and you will always want to make sure you have 3 rewards at minimum going into reset day, even if those extra rewards are just low tier delve runs or open world content. The tier or difficulty of the content you're running does not matter if you just want that bonus roll.
True, Lano.
The only other way to get bonus rolls in Season 2 will become available after 8 weeks. This will be the same deal as Season 1, where we just complete a quest and we'll be able to get some extra bonus rolls every week. In Season 2, we'll get 1 bonus roll per week from this source instead of the 2 that we saw in Season 2, so it won't let you gear up quite as fast, especially when you get around to your ults later on in the season, but hopefully by that point you'll have a lot of the big items you've been hunting for on your main characters.
Nice.
Bonus rolls are going to have different values depending on what kind of content you like to take part in. If you're mainly focusing on solo content, your bonus rolls will cap out with hero track gear rewards from nightmare prey hunts or tier 8 or above bountiful delve runs. You'll also get hero track gear from bonus rolling normal raid bosses or lower mythic plus dungeons. But if you're taking part in group content, I wouldn't use bonus rolls on hero track gear.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you could, if you think about it, you could run delves and get myth track gear out of it by taking the bonus roll. Because if you do enough delves just to fill out the full 3 slots of your open world content, well, then you can go select the bonus roll, and then you take that bonus roll into heroic raid, and you bonus roll on a boss, you're getting myth track gear. That's pretty insane. And that's why the bonus roll is so powerful, because that same delve guy has no reason to take anything that actually shows up in his vault other than the bonus roll, or he's stupid. Because the myth track gear is going to be the way to go.
You should instead push into the higher difficulties of raids in Mythic Plus. Bonus rolls spent in heroic raids will earn you Myth Track gear, and you only need to get up to Mythic Plus 10 keystones or above to start earning Myth Track gear from your bonus rolls there. That's going to be the easiest source of Myth Track gear by far. That's the best most players will be able to hope for,
plus 10?
unless you are in a raiding guild aiming for
Plus
the
10
last 2
will give you
bosses. Now, something
So bonus rolling at the end of a plus 10 bountiful delve gives you a mythic piece of gear too? Shit.
Something else to be aware of in patch 12.1 is that world bosses are no longer world bosses. They're being called Lair bosses instead, but it's more than just a name change. These are, for all intents and purposes, additional 1-boss raids. They're in their own instances now, and they have every difficulty option available to them, including Mythic. All of the rewards are on par with the other Season 2 raid, so you can earn Champion from Normal, Hero from Heroic, and even Myth Track gear from Mythic as you climb through the difficulties. So instead of world bosses becoming obsolete very quickly for any players who take part in endgame content, they now remain relevant for almost the entire season. That is a huge change and will give raiders more content to work through and more options for gearing up. The mythic difficulty for Lair bosses is also flexible, just like Sporefall in Season 1, so you can take between 15 and 25 players into the raid and it will adjust your group size just like other difficulties do. Add that to the fact this is a 1-boss raid with...
He didn't say, did he say plus 10 delves? He said bonus rolling on a plus 10 delve, Will. Not that you'll get a myth track gear from the end of it. It's a bonus roll on it, Will. That's what I believe he said, because that'll give you can get myth track gear from the vault then. Yeah, I don't think it does. I don't know. That's what I think he said. Bonus rolls, let's see. It's right here, he says it. Watch, let's see.
Content you like to take part in. If you're mainly focusing on solo content, your bonus rolls will cap out with hero track gear rewards from nightmare prey hunts or tier 8 or above bountiful delve runs. You'll also get hero track gear from bonus rolling normal raid bosses or lower mythic plus dungeons. But if you're taking part in group content, I wouldn't use bonus rolls on hero track gear. You should instead push into the higher difficulties of raids in Mythic Plus. Bonus rolls spent in heroic raids will earn you Myth Track gear,
right.
and you only need to get up to Mythic Plus 10 keystones or above to start earning Myth Track gear.
Plus 10 keystones, not plus 10 delves. Okay. Yep, I fucked that up. Thank you for correcting me. Hatsatu, thank you. Yeah, plus 10 keystones. I thought he was saying plus 10 delves.
Your group size,
that's a
just
fucking
like
change.
other difficulties do. Add that to the fact this is a one-boss raid with easier mechanics, and it makes it much more pug-friendly when compared to the main 8-boss raid. I think that was one of the major strengths of the one-boss raids in Season 1, so I'm glad to see one-boss raids with higher difficulty options become more common.
Hey, I'm glad I went back and checked.
You will only be able to use a bonus roll on the new Lair bosses once per week, so you won't be able to roll again and again to earn every piece of myth gear available like you could at the end of Season 1, which is probably for the better. We won't have quite as much access to bonus rolls anyway, especially early on in the season.
So the only difficulty we'll be able to do for the world boss or the Lair boss in week 1 is world difficulty. But I'm excited to try that, so we will go try the world difficulty of the new Lair boss in the first week. Then all the other difficulties will open up on August 18th.
But I figure this is something you should know about. It is worth noting that these changes do not make the Lair bosses any harder for solo content players to access. Instead of having an LFR mode, you'll have a world difficulty option instead. When you choose that difficulty option, you'll join a shared instance of the boss, which is basically the same thing as it being open world without the zone.
Won't normal raid be open? No, it won't be. They're opening up all the difficulties all at once. No, normal raid will not be open in the first week. You'll have mythic zeros that you could do and delves, but non-bountiful. That's what you'll be doing in the first week. Lame, yeah.
Like it usually causes. You just have to wait for enough players to join your instance to start the fight. Though on the PTR, I was able to defeat the boss with just 2 of us in the group, so
and the
you
world
might
boss.
not have to wait for very long at all. The one difference is that the world difficulty will drop veteran gear instead of the champion gear that world bosses used to drop. So arguably, world boss drops aren't as good as they used to be for solo content players. But if you do get loot, it will be for your class and spec that you're playing, instead of being random warbound gear from the entire loot table, and you should be able to clear this raid on every character for a chance at loot instead of it being locked to once per week per account. So it's better in some cases and worse in others if you are a strictly solo content player.
Okay.
Another huge change.
I know one of the Blizz devs said that one of the reasons they went to layers instead of just like having a boss out in the open world, they were like, when a player arrives and tags a boss at 2% health left and they kill the world boss, that's not a very good experience. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, what do you mean? That's the best. Like, there's nothing I love more than when I show up to kill a world boss, like in that first week when I actually do legitimately want to kill him. And he's like at 1% health and you just tag him and he dies. It's freaking great. That's the best thing. That's how Sam takes credit. That's right. It's funny. He was describing it as like this horrible experience, and I was like, that's a gift. What are you talking about? I love it when that shit happens.
That will affect every kind of player is that the catalyst no longer converts gear into a static result. Previously, when you put a piece of gear into the catalyst, the result would always be the same, regardless of the stats or effects on the gear you're converting.
This is a big deal right here.
Everyone chasing specific slots of tier gear, specifically the ones with your best stats, or the least worst stats to get your 4-set bonus active with the best stat combination possible.
Right.
That's changing in Season 2. The catalyst will now keep the stats or effects on any gear you convert. This means you won't be able to use the catalyst to change the stats on any piece of gear anymore, so you'll need to pay particular attention to the stats on every piece of gear that could be used in the catalyst, especially any gear that matches a tier set gear slot. This also makes actual tier gear tokens from the raid worse than any other piece of gear in the same slot that has better stats. If you can get a pair of legs from Mythic Plus with your best in slot stats on them, and the actual tier set gear token for legs has bad stats for your class or spec, you will want to actively farm those Mythic Plus legs to convert in the catalyst for a better overall result. Now on the flip side here, if your tier set token gear has your best in slot stats and those stats aren't available on any other piece of gear for that slot, for example from
Sure,
Mythic
then
Plus
take it.
Dungeons, the only way to get your best in slot item in that situation would be to get the raid token itself. That means you would either have to clear the raid on Mythic difficulty for a chance at a Myth Track raid token, or
But what really makes this new conversion catalyst style different is the cantrip items. The items with special effects already on them, those won't drop off when you convert it to tier gear. So like say, I'm just going to use a stupid example, but say there's a belt or there's shoulders that you loot, and the shoulders have like this ability every 40 seconds they can pop and do fire damage or something. That ability, even if it's not part of your tier set, if you convert it in the catalyst to tier set, that little ability, the pop off for 40 seconds or whatever, it will stay on the item. So you have your tier set bonus plus that. So now your tier set, your best in slot tier side item is no longer just having the tier shoulders, tier 12. I don't know what tier we're on now, but it's having the best version of those tier set shoulders. That's the best now. So it's going to change things.
Get lucky enough to see that piece of tier gear in your weekly vault. Either way, that's much harder than just converting any old piece of gear from other sources. This becomes an even bigger problem for any item available in the season that has a special effect. There are a lot of cantrip items in the new raid, and many of them fill gear slots that would previously conflict with tier gear. That would have forced you to use the other 4 pieces of tier gear so you could equip these items with a powerful proc effects in your 5th slot. But the catalyst changes now that you transfer that cantrip effect onto a piece of tier gear, so you get the best of both worlds, a tier set bonus and a powerful special effect. But once again, these items are mainly only available to raiders, especially at the highest item levels. These catalyst changes make the system far more flexible, but it does mean getting your best in slot gear will actually take a lot longer in Season 2 with all the changes.
I did not pre-watch it, I just already knew that this was a big deal. I knew it.
In place. Now with all that being said, and with all these big catalyst changes in the game, I don't think it really changes how you should approach your 4 set in Season 2. You should aim to equip your 4 set bonus as early as possible, even if it means converting gear with kinda bad stats, or even your worst stats. After you equip your 4 set for the first time, you'll earn the Season 2 Catalyst Unbound achievement, which lets you loot catalyst charges from endgame.
Once you get the 4 set, you'll basically unlock a bunch, you'll unlock so many catalyst charges that you won't have to worry about it anymore. So just get to your 4 set as quickly as possible, not just for the fact that you're getting a 4 set bonus, which is great, but you're also, or a 3 set bonus, but you're also going to unlock a lot more catalyst charges. So anytime that the actual piece of gear that you really want drops, you'll have catalyst charges for sure.
Content, including raid bosses, Mythic Plus dungeon runs, and bountiful delves. Basically, as soon as you get your 4 set all squared away, you'll be earning charges much faster. So you'll have plenty of charges to use when you do get your hands on some gear that has your best in slot stats, or some of those new powerful cantrip effects if you are a raider. So don't worry about wasting your first catalyst charges.
This is bad advice.
Your only goal should be to equip your 4 set as quickly as possible. Now this also makes LFR very useful for every kind of player. The first wing of LFR opens up alongside every other raid difficulty and should have 1 or 2 bosses that can drop tier set gear. So even if you're a mythic raider, you'll want to hop into LFR first to try and secure one of those pieces of tier gear to get your 4 set bonus and your Catalyst Unbound achievement as early as possible. As the weeks go by, if you still don't have your 4 set complete, you should be running every LFR wing available to maximize your chances of completing your tier set. Now, one huge change for solo content players specifically is for the prey system. In Season 2, you'll be able to skip over the entire hunt portion of a prey hunt, letting you go straight to the mini-boss to earn your shiny rewards. This will be great for speeding up nightmare prey hunts and obtaining your 2 pieces of champion gear every week, but this new feature also gives you bonus loot once per week. When you reach rank 4 in the Prey Season 2 journey track, you'll be able to loot afflicted souls from any bountiful tier 6 or above delve run, and when you use these souls, your next prey hunt skips over the hunt section entirely to let you go straight to the boss. And the first time you do this each week, you'll earn an extra piece of champion gear. So you'll be able to get 3 pieces of champion gear from your prey hunts per week, up from 2. It gets better though. When you reach rank 9 on the journey track, you'll be able to loot tormented souls from your delve runs. These do more or less the same thing, except the once per week bonus loot will be on the hero track instead of the champion track. So prey hunts will be able to reward you with hero gear in Season 2 instead of being limited to just champion gear like they were in Season 1. There's another way for solo content players to get an extra piece of champion gear. The weekly quests for the Vaults of Tech reward you with an item that, when you combine 2 of them together, you'll get a piece of champion gear. So it'll take 2 weeks worth of quest completions to earn that extra piece of gear, but at least these rewards are better than every other weekly quest or open world event.
Yeah, I see a lot of shit talking to the chat about me not doing the prey. I did not do the prey system. This is true. I did not participate in the prey system at all. I just didn't see a need to, you know, and this is one thing about modern day WoW. You don't have to do everything, so it's fine. Maybe I'll do one today just for shits and giggles. Who knows?
Have historically been limited to rewarding just veteran gear. You might want to complete these quests anyway, as they do reward you with a Trove Hunter's bounty map to use in your delve runs for a piece of hero track gear every week, so that extra piece of champion gear is just icing on the cake. Now, something else to be aware of is that there are some older gearing options that are being updated for Season 2, and they can offer you some very quick gear upgrades when the season starts. The first one is the older Midnight Renown factions. In Season 1, these factions offered up a piece of champion gear when you reached a specific Renown rank. Right. Those pieces of gear are being offered again in Season 2 with updated item levels. They'll only be veteran gear this time around, but in Season 2, veteran gear can be upgraded all the way to item level 295, so that should be a huge upgrade for most players. Sure. If you've already reached the required renown ranks before the patch goes live, this is just 4 free pieces of veteran gear to help you gear up faster. Another source of old gear that is getting updated are the Field Accolade vendor boxes. When patch 12.1 goes live, all of the Season 1 gear boxes will be replaced with Season 2 gear boxes. You'll be able to pick up Warbound Adventurer gear for 200 Field Accolades, or Veteran gear for 500 Field Accolades, with specific veteran gear boxes costing 750 Field Accolades. The Veteran gear starts at item level 279 and can be upgraded all the way to 295, which should be an upgrade for almost everyone. So you can arguably start working on getting yourself some item level 295 gear before the season even starts. Now you may be thinking, if this gear is actually useful in Season 2 and you can farm the field accolades before the patch goes live, is that something you should be focusing on? Personally, I wouldn't go out of your way to farm field accolades before the patch goes live. Veteran gear is going to be very easy to acquire or replace. Between the 4 pieces from the old reputations, the 2 pieces per week from weekly quests, extra loot from hard mode prey hunts, and champion gear dropping from Mythic Zeros in that first preseason week, we are going to be drowning Zeros are going to be loot. So I would save any field accolades you have, or you have.
The one thing about Mythic Zeros, though, that first week is it's a weekly lockout. So you'll be able to do one of the, you know, there's going to be the new dungeons that you'll be able to do. You'll be able to do each one time and actually get loot from them. So that'll be something that I think everybody's going to want to do in that first week. Should be a lot of people running them. But you go through them all once, and then you could do delves beyond that, you know, level up your delves, because they're going to start at level 0 again, so maybe get the level of your delves up, and then you'll be ready for the kickoff of the season.
But to obtain before the patch goes live.
Is it weekly confirmed? Yeah, it's confirmed.
Specifically, spend that time working on other end-of-season goals,
they'll switch to daily once the actual season goes live. Mythic Zeros I'm talking about.
Relaxing before the new patch launches. No one wants to be burnt out from a needless farm right before a huge content drop. But that's all of the most important gearing changes coming in patch 12.1 and Season 2, so that's it for this video. What do you think of the catalyst changes and how they shape your journey to best in slot loot? And is it a good thing that Mythic Raid loot is so much better than everything else now? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and to all of our members here on YouTube. You can see their names on screen. If you're interested in supporting the channel, you can find links in the description or click the join button just below the video. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful in any way, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you're always kept up to date. Thanks for watching, folks. Good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.
Nice video. Nice video from Kalani. It's good stuff here. Yeah, the season's changing, the vault's changing. A lot of stuff in how we get gear is going to change. The catalyst changes, those are a big deal too. So, stuff we need to check out. Good one. Nice video overall from Kalani.